Okay, articles, the, an, and sometimes nothing. What article do I use, and when, and why? We get these questions from everyone, from beginners, intermediate level, OET and IELTS students, and even students doing a master's degree. Today is episode 1 of an E2 deep dive into articles. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Everyday English with E2. My name is Mark, and each week we focus on English grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, or spelling. And this week it's all about the grammar and the indefinite article, which you all know as a or an. But before we get going and learn about articles, remember that you can check out www.e2english.com anytime if you want to improve your English fundamentals. It's free to sign up. Let's start with the basics. There are 2 indefinite articles, a or an. You'll hear a with consonant sounds, including y, a dog, a cat, a yellow house, or a one-time only offer. That's right, the number 1 is spelled with an O, but it has a W sound, which is a consonant sound, just in case you're confused. So it's the sound, not the spelling. And we use an, spelled A-N, when it's used in front of a vowel sound, like an animal, an idea, or when it's spelled with a consonant, but has a vowel sound, like an hour. The word hour is spelled with an H, but the H is not pronounced, so it's an hour. Note that a word like house, which also starts with an H, but the H is pronounced, so it's a house. So, an hour, a house. Also note, it's an umbrella, but a uniform. An hour, but a hot day. Also, some rare English words can be pronounced differently. You can say a historian, or you can say an historian. Both would be correct, but as I said, these words are pretty rare. Also note that letters in isolation follow the same rule. It's a B, a C, and a D. But when the isolated letter starts with a vowel sound, it will have N, an A, an E, but also an M and an N. So that covers sounds. But how do we use indefinite articles? Let's take a look. First, we use them in place of the word one. I'd like an apple. I'll have a cappuccino. I bought a book. The next one is similar, but let's take a close look. We can use a or an with numbers and measurements. It can often replace the number 1. It cost $100. 1 million people live in that city. I bought a kilo of apples. We use it with measurements and expressions of time. It costs $5 a kilo. The train comes twice a day. I go there 3 times a year. In this case, a is replacing per, as in I do it 3 times per year. But often when speaking, the word per is replaced by a. Next is types and kinds. Now, here at E2, we have a 30-page document about how to use articles in this situation. Here, we're going to keep it a bit shorter. An architect is a person who designs buildings. A good teacher must also be a good student. A dog is a domestic animal. You're a good person. It's a Shakespeare play. It's a Picasso. Another way we use the indefinite article is with the first mention. For example, I looked up and I saw an airplane. The airplane flew low over the city and towards the airport. So the first mention usually has the indefinite article, and then each subsequent mention will be the definite the. Now, to be honest, we don't usually talk this way. After we introduce the idea, we usually say it. So, for example, I saw a movie yesterday. It was awesome. I bought a new jacket. Isn't it cool? Let's move on. We also use a with expressions with such or what. What a great idea. It's such a good movie. What a surprise. I've had such a bad day. Another common use is pairs, as in a pair of pants, or a pair of shoes, or a pair of glasses. Finally, there are illnesses and conditions. I caught a cold. I've had a toothache all night. I have a stomachache. I have a broken leg. I have a broken heart. He had a stroke. Notice that we're not using conditions that have specific names. It's not a diabetes or a COVID. In this case, we just say, I had COVID. Now, keep in mind, it's great to review grammar rules, but it helps even more if you read a lot. The more you read, the more you'll see articles in authentic situations. That will really help you improve your speaking and writing accuracy a lot faster. And most importantly, don't get too stressed about making mistakes with articles. Improvement over time is a great way to think about it. Don't try to be perfect, just try to get a little better every few weeks. I hope you enjoyed learning a fun and awesome way to improve your grammar. And if you want to continue to develop your vocabulary, or you just want to brush up on your grammar or pronunciation, make sure you head to www.e2english.com and sign up for one of our free online courses.